I want to ask you one other thing, because I think that there are going to be a lot of people that are coming out of jail and coming out of prison during this era of 40 million people unemployed, of social injustice, of pandemic, of problems going on around the country. They're going to be the worst hit to try and get into the job market. But you just told us they can do what you did. Is it as simple? I know it's not as simple as just taking a video and loading it onto YouTube. There's some science that goes with it as well. And could you help us understand a little bit about best practices of building a channel, of whether it's tagging or titling or descriptions? Could you walk us through that process?
Well, I think a lot of people feel that there is some sort of loophole that you could do. You put in certain words and suddenly you get all these views, but it doesn't really work that way. I mean, YouTube is owned by Google, which is the world's biggest search engine company. And YouTube is actually the second biggest search engine company in the world. So the two biggest search engines are all owned by the same people. So they've spent, literally billions of dollars and hired the best scientists and mathematicians to create a system that someone can't just get a backdoor into. That's the reality. Like search engine optimization and all that kind of stuff that people constantly talk to me about. We've never done that in all of our history. We've never done search engine optimization. We've never paid for advertising. We've never done that. It's all been very organic. And the reality is there is no shortcut to it. You create strong content, you market that content to the best of your ability, and then you repeat and you keep doing it over and over again. And eventually things start to build up. You start to build up an audience that trusts you, that will watch everything you put out, because you now have a reputation for creating a certain type of product. And you do that over and over again, and things start to grow. And along the way, things, you have a pop here, you have a pop there, you get, an article here, some big celebrity mentions you here, some other news outlet picks it up, and then it all grows. But it only grows because you keep doing it. It's not like winning a lottery ticket where you're making nothing, then you make $3 million and then you're done. It's not like that. If we were to stop doing what we do, things would slowly start to taper off over time. Now we have 16,000 pieces of content. So, that's going to keep going until past my death. But it's really a matter of putting stuff out over and over again. And then, when you have something that you feel is worthwhile, you have to try to get it out into the hands of people that have the bigger outlets. So, I have relationships at TMZ. I have relationships with the radio. I have relationships with TV and other media outlets and so forth, that I can say, hey, listen, can you help push this out for me? Can you do this? I don't do very much of that anymore, but I definitely did for a long time. And, initially that was the whole thing. When we launched in 2008, there was just a handful of hip hop blogs. And I formed relationships with some of those blogs because they needed content, and we were creating content that we think would have fit on there. And so when we had something, we would send it to them, say, hey, listen, here's a new interview with Mano. Here's a new interview with, Plies or whoever else that fits your audience. And then they would put it up, and then suddenly their audience would be exposed to your audience. This is why, artists or celebrities, they go on promo runs. A lot of these people have big followings themselves already on Instagram, but they're being exposed to other people's audiences. You know what I'm saying? So by exposing yourself to someone else's audience, you end up absorbing some of those and taking them, along the ride with what you do. And that's the whole thing. This is why, a film like Avengers, they'll spend more on marketing than they do on the film itself, because they have to get the word out there. You could have the greatest billboard, the most intricate, beautiful billboard in the world, but if it's sitting in your basement and you and your friends are the only ones who see it, it's not going to do you any good. You have to get the word out there. And there's no there's no magic bullet for that. You have to keep trying stuff, and you have to keep pushing, and it's slow and it's tedious, but it does happen over time.
Well, DJ Vlad, I just can't tell you how grateful I am to you for giving us this insight. You've just really validated everything that we teach in our course. Primarily, it's the importance of visualizing success. Think about what you can do today to become the best in the world at what you do. Figure out a plan on how you get there. And Vlad just laid out his plan for us. Put priorities in place. Go after what you got to go after first, and then execute that plan every single day. Repeat, 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 recognizing that there's no magic bullet. You just got to hit it, and eventually your life changes from what anybody else thinks it could have been. And I just really want to express my gratitude to you personally for inspiring me, teaching me, and taking the time out to speak to guys who are living without hope. You've given them a lot of hope today, and I really appreciate that, and hope that we might be able to reach out to you again if the opportunity comes up.
No doubt, man. Well, I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Could you hold